Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel Kingdom. Today we're going to be getting into some controversial stuff by asking the question, could there be a better Tom Holland than Tom Holland? Because we all know the better Tom Holland than Tom is Joshua Bassett. All jokes aside though, we are going to be seeing if Asa Butterfield, the big Netflix star, would have been a better fit to play Spider-Man. And we aren't talking about the body type of fit, because we all know he'd have to get that act together real fast. So, to determine this, I'll be breaking this video down into 4 different parts. The first part will be explaining why I even decide to bring this question up in the first place. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't already know, there was some drama. Now, when I say drama, I don't mean anything bad, I just mean multiple factors that concluded him to lose the Spider-Man role. The biggest and most popular was that he basically was getting ahead of himself and announced on the internet that he was pretty much going to be cast as Spider-Man. And this was true, he was going to be, but since he announced it before Marvel Studios officially came out and said it, he ended up losing the role. Now the reason why this is relevant today is because he was actually in an interview not too long ago, and it was brought up on how he lost the role of being Spider-Man. Now the other factors that made him lose the role was his lack of chemistry with Robert Downey Jr., which is a huge deal. He has to have good chemistry with Robert Downey Jr. in order to be a part of the MCU. He also was commenting to online fans who were talking about him playing Spider-Man, and he basically confirmed their question. And Sony and Marvel were having different opinions on who to cast. They wanted Holland, and they also wanted Asa Butterfield. So, the turnout was just an entire spell of disaster for Asa. Now we will be breaking down his previous performances in other films. I was originally planning to watch all movies that starred Asa. I decided to start with Ender's Game. Now Ender's Game was a movie that I instantly knew I was going to like. When watching it, I really felt like Asa really conveyed his part of being the kid who's getting picked on even though he has the power to stop the bully. And we constantly see him trying to hold back, especially near the end of the movie. Heck, that entire movie is basically about having great power and being responsible with it. Though I wouldn't say this was the movie that had me sold for him playing Spider-Man, but it did definitely give me hope. Now the simple reason for that is his character is quite young, so you don't get everything you'd want to see if he was being a Peter Parker. Aww. Though they do hint it would come in the future. The next movie on the list was Time Freak with the Dark Phoenix Lady, Night at the Museum Kid, and of course Asa Butterfield. Now I feel like this movie isn't as wildly known, which is kinda a shame because for some reason I absolutely loved it. Yeah, maybe the ending wasn't what I wanted it to be, but I just looked past that. This movie is where I was truly thinking he was Spider-Man. We got to see him play a teenager in a relationship who hides a secret from his girlfriend. If this does not scream Spider-Man, I do not know what does. And another thing in this movie that we got to see is him being comedic while also being able to be serious and heartfelt. I was as sure as he was getting the role, so right then and there, it was my last Asa Butterfield movie. He had convinced me after only 2 movies. No wonder Marvel Studios was going to cast him. Now let's get on to the debate. Could he have been a better Spider-Man than Tom Holland? Well, this answer isn't as clear as I first thought. Tom Holland's Spider-Man is currently doing a great job at representing the Spider-Man we all need after The Amazing Spider-Man 2. And now that he's in the role, I couldn't even imagine anyone else playing him. But I'm not saying that Asa wouldn't be good for the role. In fact, I'm saying the opposite. I think he'd be such a different Spider-Man than the one we have now that it'd be almost incomparable between the two. I think if he were to have gotten the role, we would have seen a little bit more of a serious take on Spider-Man, or at the very least, a more grounded version. Maybe not going into space in Infinity War or fighting Captain America in Civil War like it's a joke. If you came here for more of a solid answer, all I have to say is that to get that yes or no you are looking for, all you really need to do is ask yourself. It's a matter of your opinion if you think Asa would have been better than Tom Holland. So once you figure out what you think, let me know in the comments below. For my own conclusion, I believe that I would have personally liked to see Asa Butterfield in the role before I knew Tom Holland was a person. And now that I do know him and have seen him as Spider-Man, I don't think there will ever be anyone who tops him. But hey, if anything goes horribly wrong with the Marvel and Sony deal, they could always come back to Asa and throw him in a reboot connected to the Venomverse. unless they'd be willing to put Miles Morales in the MCU, or better yet, Joshua Bassett as a recast for Spider-Man. But anyway, that's all I have for this video today. Thank you guys so much for sticking around, and I hope you really do let me know who you would like better as Spider-Man, Tom Holland or Asa Butterfield. That is all I have for this video, and I will see you in the next one.